All right, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for the October version of the Patch Tuesday Support Group, a safe place to talk about patching and IT in general and cry into your beer. I mentioned it earlier, but I'll mention it again. This one's going to be super crunchy. We were so close to being able to do this live from a conference. Carrie and I are dialing in from Nashville, Tennessee, where we just finished up attending MMS Music City Edition. Had a lot of fun, but we're literally going to do this webinar, and then I'm going to get on a plane and go home. As usual, you may notice that Carrie's here and that Jordan is not. He flew out because he hates himself at like 6 a.m. to go to New York. And so he will not be joining us. He has now offered Carrie as his sacrifice.
Yes. Second month in a row, you get chosen as a sacrifice twice in a row. Second time from a hotel room for me too.
Yeah. I didn't do this one, but I did a webinar for Patch My PC like a few months ago from an airport, which was really bad. Don't do that if you can ever.
Don't do it from an airport.
Yeah. Hard pass. Do not recommend. All right. So with that, I'll hand it off to Carrie. She's going to bring all the super fun, happy time news and Power BI reports that Jordan has written and executed. And then I will walk down some super fun, happy time news.
And actually, to Brian's point, no Power BI report, just the hold card numbers today. Yeah.
I assume that we'll have about the Power BI report available later, though, right? Like
it will be.
We'll have marketing it on that.
Just not today. But by the time this comes out, officially in a week, it will have the beautiful pictures in there, so you can have the great visuals that you're used to. So getting into the numbers here, we had about 252 updates. Of those, 23 are rated as critical, 171 are important, 40 are moderate, and 7 are rated as low. Of those, we have about 11 denial of service, elevation of privilege, 85, information disclosure, 28, and remote code execution, 32. We have a few security feature bypasses, about 11 of those, another 14 were spoofing, and 1 tampering there on the end. In browser wars, there were 28 for Google Chrome, 30 for Edge, 21 for Opera, and Firefox had 30. So Edge and Firefox tying for being the champions this month. For Patch My PC updates in general, we have about 2,282 total updates this month, which covered about 301 unique vulnerabilities or CVEs. And it looks like our most popular CVE, meaning, hey, it showed up a lot across a lot of different platforms, was CVE 2025-10536. And I can throw that in the chat. And then if you take that one out, the next most popular in third-party updates after removing all of the previous ones from that Firefox updates is CVE 2025-30754. And I can throw those both in the chat here in a second. And then as you guys may have noticed, we had some very interesting 0 days come out of our Microsoft Patch Tuesday updates. We had CVE 2025-24990, and that was a high severity vulnerability. CISA marked it as, actively exploited in their catalog. Basically, it involves an untrusted pointer, and it's allows attackers to manipulate memory in a way that basically leads to code execution or crash your system, both not great. So if you have that going on, it's in the Azure modem driver. So if you don't have that running, no worries, don't need to worry about it. But if you do, Microsoft has addressed that in their latest release. Another one to look out for was CVE 2025-59230. This is a Windows Remote Access Connection Manager. It's an elevation of privilege vulnerability. Basically, comes from an improper access control that allows attackers to bypass our security restrictions. So those attackers can gain unauthorized access or elevate privileges within a system. So that's also been addressed in the October Patch Tuesday update. So some things to think about as we're going through this update this month. And the very last one I wanted to mention was CVE 2025-47827. And this is a vulnerability in IGEL OS. It's related to expired cryptographic keys, if I can speak this morning. And basically, this law allows systems to continue to use keys beyond their intended expiration. So basically, it can compromise the integrity of your communications and authentication, that sort of thing. So those are all the ones that I have up here. There were plenty more to kind of point out, but those are the ones that we saw that were most notable on our end this month. So I will throw these in the chat and turn it over to Brian.
Just heads up in chat, there was no sharing screen.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Go for it, Jake.
No, I was going to say there was no sharing of screen. I know normally we show the Power BI reports, but as we talked about earlier, those will be available later on.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. No lovely Power BI report. And if that's upsetting, go talk to Jordan.
It's Jordan's fault this time.
It's all Jordan's fault.
Yeah, it really is all Jordan's fault. Okay, let's see how this is going to work. Sure, let's do that. Okay, so a lot of stuff going on. If you were not aware, I don't know how you would not be aware, but gosh, you should be made aware. Windows 10 is officially end of life as of this Tuesday. And what that means is they released the very last set of patches for it. And unless you have an ESU and you've gone and bought those, Lord knows how much they cost at this point. It is dead. And hopefully you've moved off to Windows 11 where you paid for the ESUs, and you might think, oh, hey, it's not that big of a deal. It kind of is, because if you, at least according to Qualys, apparently this month they released 6 zero-day vulnerabilities for them being publicly exploited for Windows 10. So yeah, it's not a good look. You should get rid of Windows 10. And we all knew this was coming. We've been waiting for this. We've been talking about this for a good chunk of the last year. Call out to Harjeet for coming up with this. And by coming up, I mean talking to ChatGPT to make this happen. Office is also dead. So specifically Office 2016. Okay, I guess technically there's layers here. I mean, Office died when went to Microsoft 365 apps, but it's still always Office in my head. But Office 2016 and 2019 also went out of life. So you need to make sure you're moving to whatever the latest click to run version is. I actually forget at this point. I haven't kept track. But if you're using the on-prem MSI still, those are now dead, and you need to move along. Also, here's some more details on that announcement. And Exchange also. So if you're running Exchange on-prem, same deal. 2016 and 2019 are now in end of life. And so hopefully you have moved on to whatever the next version of those things are. So I hope none of that caught anyone on this webinar by surprise. But if it did, I'm sorry. So there were some changes here in the way that Microsoft does their OneDrive and SharePoint access. And so if you, specifically to local network resources, if you're seeing anything funky, here's the resource. I'll have you go read this to see if that if there's some browser policies you can apparently set that might be able to remedy that. But if you're seeing some weirdness there, go ahead and check that out. I think we've heard a couple people mention, oh, hey, Amnissa and Duo did this thing. This month patching, I am hearing this from a fair number of people, and the links here are in the resources. Now, I want to be super clear: these aren't official responses from Microsoft. These are people on Reddit and here in on Learn saying, "Wait a minute, I'm seeing some weird thing." And very specifically, here they say, "Hey, IS services is not working." I think this is the one. Localhost, after this month's cumulative update on some Windows 11 and Windows servers, there's certain scenarios where localhost no longer works. I hope everyone would know what localhost is, but in case you do not, localhost is the thing that will always point to, it's the DNS name of your local machine. So you can, if you're running a piece of software, you can always go to localhost and it's going to try and contact some service running on this machine. And I think that's the root of what's going on here with like the Duo desktop stuff. Thanks for the link. I just stole it so we can make sure anyone who saw it has it. But I'm fairly sure that's the same deal because I see this kind of thing in here, like, hey, HTTP listener exception, blah, blah, blah. And I kind of feel it's the same way thing here with Horizon Windows Client. Both of these things seem like, oh, we probably have some background service running on localhost and we connect to it. And guess what? That kind of died. So if you're running any of those things, or especially if you're seeing that level of weirdness of HTTP things suddenly just not working, there's no workaround that I'm aware of. Follow those threads. Hopefully we'll get a known issue rollback or something from Microsoft or some other explanation of what happened there, whether it's a bug or an actual intentional by design kind of change they made. Too early to tell. But heads up there, weirdness seems to be abounding with the cumulative updates. Here's just a fun little story. I'm sorry this month I didn't really get to order these in some sort of coherent story as I like to do. But this was fun. It's just a fun read. Some hacker groups specifically reached out to a BBC reporter asking him to help them hack the BBC, saying, hey, you'll never have to work again. And so he just went and made that the story, which is, it's just kind of funny in my mind. They tried to use him as an insider threat. And he's like, well, instead of doing that, I do want to continue working. And in fact, I will write a whole news article about this interaction. So that's kind of fun. If you are using any of Cisco's firewalls, there's ASA FTD stuff. Go update those. I don't think we've had to talk about them for a few months. It's not uncommon, but this one is not the worst, I don't think. Oh no, wait a minute, it is 9.9. This is the bad one. Yeah. So it's a 9.9. That's not good. They don't get much worse than that. You can get a 10. You can get a perfect score if you really want, but you really got to try for that one. So yeah, if you are running any of the Cisco ASA stuff, and a lot of us are, scared. It's been around for a long time. Go ahead and check and make sure you got updates, and go ahead and get those applied. This is one from late last month. There was a VMware 0-day that's been around for quite some time, for the better part of a year. And again, the CVEs score here isn't too bad. It's it's on 7.8, so it's not the worst thing in the world. But it's been unpassed for quite some time. And so you might want to, if you're running any of these things, Cloud Foundation, vSphere, all of those things, which again are very popular tools, you may want to go and double check and read this and follow up and update your stuff where that applies. Another one, we keep talking about this, and it's because they keep coming up. Like, I'm not just talking about this because I'm it's some weird kink of mine. But it seems like every month somebody has managed to do a supply chain attack, and they've the links, David, should all be in the resources. They're getting added. Blame me. Corey's trying to add all the links into the resource section as fast as he can. But I literally dumped it on him like 2 minutes before the webinar started. So sorry. We're working on it. If it doesn't get in there, let me know at the end, and I'll go get it from my notes and toss it in there. There you go. Here, I'll just do this. There you go. The Shai Halud, a nice little reference to Dune. But basically what happened here is it's the same old story. What's becoming kind of routine now is, hey, there's somebody managed to, so NPM is a, how do you call it? It's sort of an open source, crowdsourced set of components you can use when you're developing software. And what somebody has meant, and there's hundreds of thousands or millions of packages in there. And some attacker managed to get the credentials of somebody who had the rights to push stuff up there. And so that's what they started doing. They put bad things in there, and therefore bad things happened. I keep bringing these up, even though there's really like nothing you can really do about it. And what's really annoying about these is it tends to be, it ends up being spreading out, right? Because you don't really have tracking for, hey, are you using what was one that Log4j? If we all remember Log4j, right? Several years ago, having a major vulnerability in it. Well, it's hard to track what all uses Log4j. Sometimes you can get lucky and there's a very specifically named assembly or file. You can do that, but these ones are really, really hard to track. Something gets cracked, and you don't know how many of the vendors' software that are using that has been updated to consume this bad version, and do they know that they consumed it? All of those things. So that's why I keep talking about it, because the more people that know, hopefully the better this gets, or at least the more people can go and look and see if bad things happen to their own software. This is another really super sad read, but this happened in the background. It's already fixed, so there's nothing for you to do. But this guy did apparently found a way to attain global admin to every IDE tenant, every tenant globally. Yeah, wow. I mean, like, it is the sort of end game of yes, and even anyone, he's very walks through this and he's like, hey, absolutely, everyone on this call, if you have an Azure tenant, this guy claims, hey, yeah, there was a workaround to go in and get these tokens and move them across different tenants. So super interesting read there. Kind of scares the crap out of me, but there you go. It's important to know that those things happen. Again, got fixed super quickly. Microsoft didn't seem to really come out and talk about this. Jordan, if he was here, this is something I know he's been interested in, which is like, well, you tend to do vulnerability, or what's the right word? The vulnerability management system is often meant around like, hey, there's this exploit that's been around for a while, and here's the vendors that are working on it. Here's the version that fixes it. And in the fully SaaS world, sometimes they seem to be less, what's the right word? Open about it, in that, well, we got a report for a bug and we fixed it and it's done. And there is nothing for you or I to do about it. But it seems like we should know that happened. Anyways, moving along.
Brian, don't you know you're supposed to just walk around with constant anxiety? That's really, or you just are constantly, on edge about anything that could happen in your ecosystem. That's really the point.
Yeah, absolutely.
At least that's what I've determined at this point. There's nothing you can do, so just live with some anxiety.
I think they just call that the human experience, Carrie.
That's right. Just constant anxiety.
Just a human experience. All right. Well, I like to say us IT admins are all kind of broken in some way. So, I mean, it's a very specific subsection of the human race, I think there, Jake. But, fair enough. Pain is the human experience. I can buy into that concept. If you're using Veeam backups, once again, you should go take a look. I think this one was pretty bad. Yeah, 9.9. They almost got there. They almost got to the perfect 10. Maybe they'll get there in another time. But if you're running Veeam stuff, go ahead and make sure you back up backup. Make sure you go take a look. See if you're impacted. Make sure your versions are updated as quickly as you can. Also, that Veeam one, every time it comes up, just to be aware, they always say, hey, you shouldn't be running Veeam in your normal domain. You shouldn't be domain joined, or if it is domain joined, it should be connected to a dedicated domain, yada, 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 which is a pain in the butt, and a lot of people don't do it. But I leave it to you to figure out what you want to do there. hey, this was interesting. So LastPass, just note this isn't a vulnerability in LastPass per se, but there was a large phishing campaign basically telling, hey, you're sending emails to hopefully LastPass users saying, hey, LastPass had a vulnerability, click here to install the latest version. Shocking enough, the version they were linking to was the one that had the vulnerability that they intentionally put in there. And so, yeah, here's an example of what that email looked like. LastPassPulse.blog.com is the domain. So, if just be aware if you're a LastPass using company, you hopefully were aware of this and got out. Well, maybe not. This is 3 days ago. You might want to get out ahead of this and make sure that your team members know that this is happening and not to fall for it. I wish I had put this right along the whole, like, hey, the BBC hacker news of like, hey, you never need to work a day again in your life. Apple has doubled their reward to $2 million for a zero-click RCE, which is remotely code execution. So if y'all ever just want to not have to work again, if you want a quick, rich scheme, go figure out how to find a bug in Apple in Apple's iOS and Mac OS operating systems, and to be set for maybe not life, but good couple of years. $2 million goes away.
Retirement.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's a great way to fund retirement or retire early. Gmail announced that they are now. This isn't for consumer level free Gmail, but if you're using their workspace stuff or their enterprise things, they are introducing end-to-end email encryption, which is kind of cool. So you might want to go take a look at that if you are such a user. I don't imagine we have a lot of people using Google Workspace, but I know it's pretty. I want to say it's very common in the education space. So if you are using it, go exactly. Go take a look. Yeah, there you go, Chris Thomas. I figured somebody was using it. Microsoft Office. So there was a problem with SVGs. They had a vulnerability, and so there was a change to Outlook for Web and Outlook for Windows to basically just no longer load those SVGs. I don't know. I didn't read down long enough to see if there was a way to disable or re-enable that or whatever. But just be aware that changed. And so if you have some users are saying, wait a minute, why aren't these images loading anymore? You now know why, and you can go take a look at it. This is basically the same thing. Sorry, duplicate on my end here. That's that whole Cisco. There's like 5,000. This was kind of follow up of like, hey, there's like roughly 5,000 vulnerable Cisco firewalls out there. Let's go ahead and get them patched, please, faster rather than later. Edge. So this does not currently impact enterprise customers, but Microsoft's come out with a change to how the IE mode in Edge works. And here's a whole write-up of what they've done. It only really changes the consumer experience for now, but it basically just changes. I know. Can we just stop with IE again? It's there. It's there. I'd love to know how many people are still using like IE compatibility mode configuration in the enterprise. I don't know. Do we have like? Yeah, exactly. Put your thumbs up. It's going to happen. There's people who are doing it, and I get it. But I love seeing the guy that raised their hand. Sorry, Ethan. I get it. Zoom is terrible. It's 8 for life, guys. It's too early in the morning for me here. Again, right now we aren't impacted, but especially if it's in some sort of like low a non-managed kiosk mode kind of thing, and it's not an enterprise, you might be impacted by this. They just mostly flip the default to disable it unless you really, really go in and say, yes, I do want this, so on and so forth. So just be aware. I don't have a great link other than this. Rafael Riviera is like a former Microsoft guy who I think might be an MVP. I don't know. But he talks a lot about insiders, the insider releases and what he's seeing come out. And this is one which is interesting. He's just saying in the latest insider builds, they see .NET Framework 3.5 being no longer a feature on demand. A feature on demand is a feature that's built into the OS that isn't installed by default, and so you can go in and write some. There's PowerShell and command lines to do is it DISM? I forget. No, it's not DISM anymore. But you can. No, it is DISM, and you can enable these features. So if you how old? Well, so to be clear, I know 3.5 sounds old, but it also includes, I think, 1.0, even the older stuff, 2.0, and maybe 4 at this point. I forget. The whole .NET firmware to .NET Core to what's now just .NET. It's all very confusing to me. And this is as somebody who actually has written code and all of those things. But you'd probably be amazed. You'd probably be amazed at how many apps are just still built in that. I know it's sad, but it's the world we live in. So just be aware that that's happening. So when this new build comes in, I don't think this was 25H2, but at some point we might see this, and you can still download it and install it if you need to. But if you have processes and imaging that's based on imaging processes that are based on, hey, we're going to enable this feature on demand because we know we have a whole bunch of apps that we deploy that need this. Be aware you're going to have to go change that process at some point. Not now, not today, but it's in insiders. Which usually is a good clear indication that it's going to hit you soon. So, anyways, moving on. Why wouldn't we talk about Copilot? Here I am at a conference where I heard all about Copilot. Oh no, this isn't. That's the next one. Sorry. So they're adding some health checks. So if you're using AVD or Windows 365, this is a good one to take a quick read over. They're just doing. They've kind of created this whole health air quotes health suite of things. And to make sure that your VDIs are healthy. I don't actually have a deep experience in either of those technologies, so I'll leave it to you to go actually make sense of what they're saying. Because I kind of read this and was like, okay, I don't really get what this is. Like, okay, OS is compatible network connection service. Like these seems like I don't know. This seems like nothing to me, but they seem to have written a blog post about it. So maybe there's something cooler there that I'm not seeing. If you are a user of Security Copilot for Intune, I won't ask you to raise your hands because silence is awkward sometimes. But if you are using said thing, they have extended this into Windows 365 cloud PCs. And what that just means is when you're in Intune and you can start asking Intune chatbot, Copilot about devices, it is now aware of Windows 365 cloud PCs, and it can reach in there and get you information about what's going on there. So, I mean, if you're using it, awesome. It's cool. It's a nice little extension. No, same deal. There's a duplicate. And Windows 365 cloud apps are now in preview. So this is all about kind of how you might attach, as I understand it, how you might attach an application instead of install it in the actual PDI. So use like MSIX and AppV had this promise of like, okay, they're completely containerized, and so you could just connect them up into the device instead of fully install it. And that's now in public preview. So again, if you're using Windows 365, you can just go ahead and take a look and see if any of that stuff interests you. Let me check my list. I think that is everything I had. And again, I'm sorry that I didn't really order that in some sort of meaningful story for you this morning, as I'd like to do. I don't think there's any meaningful releases of Intune, or I don't think there's anything going on in the config manager space. I usually check that for you. But I haven't heard of any major cool things being released recently. They're probably holding out for Ignite at this point. So, was there a hotfix? Did I miss a hotfix? Fine. Okay, good. Thank you. Did you get a hotfix? Oh yeah. Well, yesterday. That's why I didn't notice it. I was here at the conference. Okay. Well, let's see what's in here. Okay. Defender registry keys. Check compliance. Wow. Okay, they did some stuff. Oh, okay. Well, there you guys go. Awesome. I can tell you. So for those that don't know, my boss, David James, is the former director of engineering for config manager. Well, this is where I was going, James. There actually is a team. The team at some point was moved off to Microsoft's Indian Development Resource Center. And it wasn't just config manager. A lot of Intune was there, and a couple of years ago they let a lot of that. They had a lot of reduction of force in that center, and it ended up back here in the U.S. So there is actually a small number of dev, I think like 10ish or so, that are working on config manager, and that's actually probably why you see something like this, because they've had about, I want to say, less than a year, and just got thrown at this code base again, and probably walking through and trying to knock out some bugs. So cool. I love to see it. And thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, no CVEs, Matt. Good call out. So, all right. Thanks, everyone. That's all I had. So, if you want to, yeah, when do we get the next version? It's a good question. I might actually be able to ask that question now, because there is an actual team that my boss can ask questions of, which is nice, because for several years for config manager, I didn't even know who I would ask a question of, and now I kind of know. So, so if anybody wants to ask a question or come off mute, or even go ahead and share something that we missed this month, I'd be happy to talk about it. But if not, thanks for joining us. This was a short one. We'll see you again in November.